Today on the Green Olive Cooking Channel, I'm going to show you how to make a minestra alla Napoletana, which is basically escarole, sausage, and white bean. It is very comforting and simple to make, and you are going to love it. Pronto? Allora andiamo a cucinare. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to teach you how to make this great hearty soup. It's super simple and you're going to love it. It's packed full of flavors. So to start, we have our stock pot that we're heating up, and to that we are going to add a couple tablespoons of olive oil. And we are going to add our meat. I have turkey here because I like to keep it lean, which is why I added a few tablespoons of olive oil. But if you're using Italian sausage, you probably don't need to add the olive oil. So I'm adding a pound of seasoned turkey meat. And we just kind of want to break that up until the meat is all cooked. And that'll just take a few minutes. Okay, so now that our meat is all cooked, we are going to add some onions and some garlic. So about a half onion finely diced. And I put about 4 cloves of garlic. And we just want to stir that up and cook that until the onions get a little bit more translucent. Okay, so now I'm going to add some tomatoes, and you can either add 2 to 4 Roma tomatoes fresh, but we don't have fresh tomatoes right now, so I'm just using canned tomatoes. It's about half a can, and I just kind of broke up the Roma tomatoes, so I'm just going to add that. And then to that, I'm going to add some cannellini beans. If you can't find cannellini beans, any kind of white bean or any kind of bean that you like would be fine, but cannellini bean is traditionally what's used. So I'm going to add a can of that, and that's about 14 ounces. Or you could do your own beans. It doesn't have to be canned, but they do have to be cooked. So we're going to add some escarole, and I know not everybody might know what escarole is, but this is it. It's it's basically a lettuce, a type of lettuce that you could use. Some people don't like it because it has a bit of a bitter taste to it. But I will tell you, and just hear me out here, bitter is actually very good for your body. So if you can eat bitters, it's just healthier. But one thing I have noticed is that when you do cook escarole, it does not taste bitter. If you want to kind of get used to the bitter, you can chop some up and add a little bit in your salad and just kind of get used to it if you want to eat it cold, or raw I should say, and kind of adapt your palate to the bitter taste. But bitters are healthy. So they're always there's a little bit of dirt on the bottom of these, so you want to chop it up in small pieces here, and you want to rinse your escarole. So we're going to add that to our dish. And if you don't want escarole, you could add spinach. Again, it wouldn't be a traditional minestra alla Napoletana if you did that, but if you're not used to the escarole, and I get it, you could do that. And sometimes it might be a little bit hard to find escarole in your market, but I highly would suggest giving it a try and see if you like it. Again, it's not going to be bitter once you cook it. All right, and so now to that, we're going to add our broth. You can add vegetable broth, bone broth, chicken broth, whatever kind of broth you would like. And we need to add about 3 cups. And so I'm just going to eyeball 3 cups here. And of course, you could add more if you like your soup more brothy. The escarole will cook down in the broth. I am going to add a little bit of red pepper flakes because I like a little bit of kick to my soup. And we just want to keep cooking this until all the escarole cooks down and it's all nice and hot and boiling, bubbling, or I should say comes to a boil. And then we'll finish it off with some other toppings. So let's just let that aside. All right, so now we can check on our soup and we can see it is ready. Nice and hot, boiling. So I'm going to turn that down, and I'm going to add my final pieces. I've got some butter, and that's going to help give some creaminess to our soup. I've also got some Parmesan cheese. I'm adding about a half a cup, but you can add however much you want or little. I haven't tasted this for salt yet because there's a lot of seasoning salt in the Parmesan cheese, plus sometimes the meat. So I'm waiting until I get all the ingredients added in here before I actually taste for salt and pepper. And so now I am going to add a little extra salt because I can tell it just does need some more salt. And I'm probably going to add a little bit more fresh cracked pepper. And of course, this is just a taste. And then to that, I'm gonna add some fresh parsley. It just kind of gives some freshness to the soup, and you do want to add this to the very end and maybe even save some for garnish. If you add it and let it cook, it will actually get bitter tasting. So it's the last thing you want to do just before you serve it. All right, now we can serve our soup in our soup bowl, and we can add some crostini on the side. We can add more Parmesan cheese, some fresh parsley. It is a really hearty soup. Your family's gonna love it. I hope you guys give this one a try. I'm Chef Lucia, and I'll see ya. Ciao.